Hello everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and you're watching this on Xanadu Castle. So today, I'm doing something that I was gonna do by like the end of the year, but then I was like, I feel like doing it now, because I really enjoy doing this type of stuff, and that is a bookshelf tour and a book and manga collection type video. Because I really enjoy watching a lot of other people's bookshelf tours, because I like seeing how people have their stuff set up, and, you know, all the stuff that they have, and, you know, I also like hearing people talk about the stuff that they have, because it makes it, like, you know, more personal to them. I don't know, I really enjoy that kind of stuff, and I kind of wanted to do my own. So, yeah, not really much else I need to say here, though I guess I should say that I'm going to start off with doing the two manga shelves that I have, and then I'll do the, you know, the novel stuff. And, you know, we'll get into all that. Of course, I'll put timestamps and everything, so... Alright, let's begin. Okay, so this is a basic overview of the first manga shelf we got here. There we go. But now let's just get right to the good stuff. So, I talked about this in my, my introduction video, that 20th Century Boys is one of my all-time favorite mangas that I read, and yeah, like, it's just amazing. Like, I don't want to gush too much about it here, as I do feel like it's one of those series that it's best to go into it without knowing a ton of things about it, but if I can quickly sell it to people that have no idea, it's basically a coming-of-age story, very similar to Stephen King's It, but instead of it, you know, it takes place in Japan, and instead of a clown that's harassing the group of people, it's instead a crazy cult leader. And of course, there's a lot of like crazy stuff that happens involving like a book that they like grew up reading and such. It's really, really good. Like I said, like if you're not even like into like a lot of manga reading, like it's one that I could like recommend to most people because it's just so damn good. And then his other series, Monster, is another one that I really love a lot. I don't have all of the volumes, but I did watch the whole anime to it, and that's why, like, what made me fall in love with his work, so... Yeah, it's another one that, like I said, like, it's hard to, like, explain everything all at once without giving too much away, but... Yeah, it's just really amazing. Like, trust me, like, it's really damn good. And then, the final one that I have, obviously I don't have the whole thing, I only just have one volume, and that's, oops, wrong way. It's, Asadora. Now, I haven't started reading that one yet, so I don't know a lot about it, but given that it is from one of my favorites, like I said, it's best to go into it without, like, knowing a ton of things about it. But I'm excited, though, when I get more of them. And then we have my one copy of Drifting Classroom, and this is a one from Kazuo Umez, who was the guy that inspired Junji Ito, because, you know, that's a very popular name. And yeah, his art style is just really crazy, and this one is about a bunch of kids, like, they go to school, and then their school basically transports to, like, a whole other world of all these, like, crazy monstrosities and all this, and they have to, like, survive and stuff. It just sounds really amazing, and the artwork is just, like, crazy good. But yeah, I really need to get to reading more of that one. And then this one I haven't read yet. This one's still sealed. This is, Die Gelder, and, I forget what the main plot of this one was about. I know it's, like, it has to do with, like, crime, and there's, like, a revenge type thing. And I remember hearing someone saying that this is basically, like, if Quentin Tarantino made a manga, so I'm like, yeah, I'm down. So, yeah, I was sold. So this is the one underneath, and, so the first one we got here is an interesting one, because this is a very early, manga that came out in North America, so, like, the format's, like, a little different, which is neat. And that is Shadow Lady. So what this one is about is that it's, you know, the main character, she's a thief, and she's always, like, getting away from the cops in these, like, really ridiculous, funny ways, so kind of think of Lupin the Third, but if she was, like, a magical girl, where she can transform into, like, other, like, forms, and, you know, they get kind of crazy and such, and yeah, I actually thought it was pretty fun. I did wish it was longer, but for what they had to work with, though, it was pretty enjoyable. I liked it. And really good art style, too. And then the next one after that is one of my all-time favorites, and this one here is Vampire Hunter D. And yeah, like I said, it's easily one of my favorites. I love the two movies. In fact, this volume right here, Volume 3, this is the one that is Bloodlust that came out in 2000. And it is, like, pretty much the same, but there is a few differences that I thought were quite interesting, so... Yeah, so even if you have, like, watched the movie a bunch of times like I have, there's still a lot of reasons that you can, like, read this manga, and it's, like, just really, really damn good. But, yeah, no, like, I can gush about Vampire Hunter D, like, for, like, ever, but, you know, I'm not gonna do that, but, yes, I would love to see them make, like, more movies out of them, because they only did, like, 2 of them, because Volume 4 has a very interesting concept that's very cool, that I can easily see get made into a movie. And beside Vampire Hunter D, we got some Vinland Saga, and yeah, this series is really awesome so far. I really need to get more of them, because I would love to continue it. But, yeah, it's some, like, really good Viking stuff. So, if you really love the Viking setting and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I think you'd really dig into that. And beside that, we have Fist of the North Star. And we have the first 10 volumes, which is the first arc of the series, and probably the best arc of the whole series. And yeah, it's another one that I really love a whole lot, really fun. It's basically Mad Max, but the main character, he's like a martial artist, and he has the ability to like make people's like limbs explode. It's really fun, really crazy, and of course the art style is just amazing. And then beside that, we got one of the craziest things I've ever read, and that is Innocent by Shinichi Sakamoto. Freaking love that cover art. His art style is also just incredible, too. And, yeah, I will definitely say I've only read Volume 1 so far, and I really like it. But, man, it's going to be a hard series to recommend because it's just so, like, graphic with, like, its violence, and it's not graphic in a way like Fist of the North Star is, where it's very, like, over the top. No, this one is violent in the sense that it's, like, very realistic. like, there's a part where they cut open a dead body, and it, like, when you look at it, like, it almost looks like you're looking at an actual autopsy. Like, it's that kind of, like, graphic, so, yeah, if you can't handle blood and gore at all, yeah, I would not recommend that, though. But if you can handle that stuff, then, yeah, I think it's very interesting. It's, like, an interesting, historical fiction about, like, executioners and stuff, and, yeah, I'll probably talk more about that when I read more of it, but just from going off of that, though, it is very fascinating. Okay, now going below that, we got some big ones here. So we have some 2 clamp works, being Clover and Magic Knight Rayearth, and Clover, like this box, like, it's, okay, so Magic Rayearth is a box set, and Clover is just, like, one giant volume, and it, like, looks really cool. I would take it out, but it's kind of a pain to take out with, like, one hand, so, yeah, unfortunately I won't be able to show that off here, because, yeah, it's kind of, like, yeah, it's, like, wedged in there. But, yeah, so, anyways, Clover I thought was pretty decent. It was alright, but I like the concept of it a lot. In fact, I kind of wish they would make it into an anime one day and really expand upon its concepts, because I think it has a lot of potential. And then, you know, the art style in both of these stuff is really good. And Magic Knight Rayearth is, like, probably my favorite Clamp property, as I do think it's just really cool and fun. It's, like, fantasy with, like, mechs and dragons and, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. And, you know, of course, like I said, art style is just great. I love the anime. I even really like the Sega Saturn game. I think that's great, too. And then, beside that, we got Orochi, also from Kazuo Umez, the same guy that did Drifting Classroom. And I actually read through the whole thing of Orochi earlier this year, and I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I thought it was pretty fun. And, you know, like, these covers are just, like, really, really awesome. Like, yeah, like, I love that. And, you know, I'll show, like, another one here. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one has some, like, really cool details to it. And I think the back one, yeah. Yeah, I really love that. Yeah, his art style is just great. And then we got My Name is Shingo. This one I haven't read yet, because I, like, just got it, like, not too long ago. So I'll probably get more of them once all the volumes come out. But it's like his, like, science fiction one, so it's not horror like his other stories are. So that's gonna be kind of interesting to read through. And we got Girl from the Other Side and these really cool hardcover sets. This one I haven't read yet. I hope to get around to it soon. But it, like, looks kind of cool. I actually kind of like the design of, like, that dude there. He kind of looks like an icon from, like a metal band or something. I just think it's just really awesome. And then, beside that, we got Spriggan. And Spriggan is also just really awesome. Really loved it a lot. I watched the original movie that came out in the 90s, and it has some, like, amazing animation. The story itself was, like, good, but it was, like, you know, it's a movie, so, you know, they can only fit, like, so much into it, though. But after reading this whole series, man, it was so fun. Like, lots of, like, really cool, fun stuff. It's kind of like Metal Gear, like the video games. It's kind of like Metal Gear where it's, like, espionage, but also has some, like, weird fantasy elements, like, thrown into it. So, yeah, it's very crazy. In fact, I remember one of the guys that the main character fights basically looks like Arnold, and he is, like, even, like, talks like him, too. It's kind of funny and awesome. So, yeah, no, there's a lot of really cool stuff in Spriggan. I would definitely recommend it if you like over-the-top action with, like, espionage meets, like, crazy fantasy stuff. And then this one here is Yokohama Kadashi Kikyo. This one is very interesting. It's very different from what I normally read, but it's pretty much about this robot girl, and runs a coffee shop. And the thing is that the coffee shop that she's running, it's all happening at like in a post-apocalyptic world. But the post-apocalyptic world is not like, you know, the typical stuff that you're probably familiar with. No, this is a post-apocalyptic world where like everything's kind of like outgrown. Like there's not a lot of humans around, so there's a lot more like trees and animals around, so it actually looks really nice. It's not like a desolate, like, wasteland, like, you know, like, it doesn't look like Fallout kind of thing. But, yeah, it's actually a very cool and fun little series. Like I said, very different from what I normally read, but I like it. And then we got Parasite, which, this one I really need to get around to. It's another horror one with some body horror stuff. And, yeah, it's one that I really need to get around to. And, of course, when you get more of the volumes, it spells out Parasite, which is cool. The one funny thing I have to mention about Parasite is that, when that movie came out, you know, the South Korean movie that's called Parasite, that was, like, that won all sorts of awards. Yeah, great movie, by the way. I remember when that movie was coming out, and, like, everyone was hyped about it. I thought they were talking about that, and it was just like, wow, okay. Kind of weird that that's trending all of a sudden. Okay, now below that, first one we're starting here is a popular one, and that is Chainsaw Man. I only read 4 out of the 8 that I own, and I could say that I actually do like it quite a bit. I actually think it's pretty enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's like the best shit I've ever read, but I actually do thought it was, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. Like, especially for a mainstream series, like, well, I haven't seen the anime for it, but for a mainstream series that got, like, really popular really fast, like, it's one of the few that I actually do like quite a bit. So, you know. And then beside that, we got Die Dark. This series is really cool. I really need to read her other series. Was it Doro, I think it's called? That one also looks really cool too. But from what I read at Die Dark, though, it's pretty awesome as well. Yeah, so hopefully I'll try to get more volumes of that, though. But it's really cool. It's like, God, how can I explain it quickly? Is that it's pretty much like about this guy who's like everyone is like after him because apparently his bones are like made out of like a material where they can like make a wish. So everyone is like basically trying to kill this like one guy, and then he's just like, you know, traveling around space, and you know, all like the different planets and areas that they go to all look really cool and trippy. It's really great. Also, everything just kind of looks like Skull related. Like, you know, if I can show you guys the cover art here, like. Yeah, like, everything just looks really badass and such. I know Doro was kind of like that, too, where everything kind of looks a little Halloween-like. And, okay, can I, like, actually get this back in here? Okay, there we go. Alright, then we got Dead Man Wonderland. I know I talked about this in my, introductory video, where it's basically, like The Running Man with Arnold, but, you know, without Arnold, and basically it's about this guy who has to take part in this, like death game show type thing, and it happens to take place at, like, a theme park that's, like, really crazy looking, and of course there's also, like, a lot of the characters have these, like, weird superpowers where they use, like, their blood to attack people. Yeah, it sounds really nuts, and it is, and I loved it. I think it was really, really great. But yeah, I won't talk more about that because I kind of talked about it and gushed all over it in like my introduction video. And then this series, Alice in Borderland. I also read this for the first time this year, and man, it was so fun. I loved it. Very similar to Dead Man Wonderland. It's another one of these death game show type concepts where these characters have to do these like little like mini games, and you know, if they fail, then they die, kind of thing, and then they're all trying to figure out like who was like behind like the whole thing, and it's really, really good. I think there's a live action on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken, but I haven't seen it, though. And then, this is Captain Harlock here, from Lei Matsumoto. I haven't read that one yet, but I have seen, like, a little bit of the 70s anime that was, you know, that this came from, and it was pretty cool. But of course, I'm mainly familiar with his other work, being Galaxy Express 999, which I absolutely loved. So, you know, he's also one of those guys that has those, like, interconnected universe type things, which is cool. Alright, we're at the bottom of this shelf. So, right here in this corner, we got the Big Viz edition of Vagabond. I only have the first 5 because, yeah, trying to track down this series for a long time was, like, kind of a bitch. Because, like, they would always, like, sell out, like, really quickly, and then every time you look on, like, you know, the aftermarket, like, eBay or whatever, like, people would always sell, like, one volume for, like, $50, $60, and I'm just like, no, fuck you, I'm not paying that for, like, one volume. So, yeah, all these volumes I have here, yeah, I bought them at retail, like, whenever I saw them, and, yeah, I've been doing that for, like, 2 years. Because it's, you know, like I said, they always sell it really quick. But now that they're releasing the, they're doing a deluxe edition that's going to be a hardcover. So now because of that, I think it's going to be easier to getting these ones, thankfully. And I'm just going to stick with getting these ones because I really do like the way how they lined up there. I think it's just really cool looking. But yeah, it's a samurai series that has some, like, amazing artwork. So yeah, it's one that I definitely can't wait to get to. And then beside that, we got a very weird one that I really love, and that being is Rooster Fighter. So, yes, as you would expect, it's about a rooster who fights, like, a bunch of giant monsters. It's really ridiculous and stupid, but I love it. But the thing that's really surprising about it is that it's one of those, like, ideas that you just sit there and think, like, oh, this is going to be so fucking stupid and dumb. Which it is, and it does excel at doing that. But it surprisingly has, like, really good character writing into it. Like, I don't want to get too much into it there, but yeah, like, the way how, like, some of the characters are written and all, like, the animals that also talk, like, they're done, like, really well. Like, and you wouldn't expect that it would be like that, but it is, and it's great. And I know that and I heard that they just announced an anime is in the works, so I'm actually looking forward to that. I hope it's good. And by the way, for the English dub, they better get frickin' Dan Green to voice the main character, because that would just be amazing and hilarious. But yeah, Rooster Fighter is just a really great one that I'm happy is actually getting some attention. Alright, then there's Witch Hat Atelier. This one is also getting an anime made. And, yeah, this one is really cool, really fascinating stuff. I need to read more of it, though, but I do have 8 of them. And, yeah, this one is basically about this girl who's, she, like, becomes a witch because, oh, it's kind of hard to explain, but basically, she opens up a book of spells, a bunch of shit happens where, like, her mother turns to stone, and then, like, the one guy is, like, going to, like, erase her memories, but then he realizes that it's like, oh, if I erase your memories, then that's, like, I'll lose, like, the only lead I have in order to find out, like, who that book belonged to. So basically, he kind of has to, like, train her to becoming a witch, and yeah, it's actually really good so far. The artwork is great. Like, I love the, that one panel there with the dragon that's, like, attacking them. Like, that shit is just awesome. Alright, so beside, Witch Hat Atelier, we have, Heart Gear. And, this is one that I think they, like, just finished it or something. Like, I've been hearing mixed things about it. Like, some people are saying that the series is finished or that it was, like, canceled. I really hope it wasn't canceled, because that would suck. Because from what I read of, Heart Gear, I actually thought it was, pretty enjoyable. Yeah, so from what I remember, it's basically about, this girl, and she ends up, like, discovering this, like, robot that looks like a fridge. And then it turns out that the fridge robot turns into, like, this, like, badass robot guy that fights, and they basically just kind of travel the world together, and yeah, it was actually kind of fun so far. Like I said, it would suck if it did get canceled, because it was pretty cool and fun, and the art style was nice too. Then beside that, we got a classic one. Well, we got 2 classics. We got Akira and Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. Yeah, I haven't read these ones yet, but obviously I've seen the movies, and, you know, the movies are great. But, Akira is going to be really awesome to read, though, because I heard that it has, like, a lot more stuff than the movie, so I'm excited for that. And then Nausicaa Valley of the Wind has like this cool box set. Alright, so we got some overflow stuff here. This is just like the first top half is like literally like the most interesting thing. The bottom half doesn't really have like much. So, okay. So over here we got Uzumaki from Junji Ito, which I've read for the first time this year, and this is actually the only Junji Ito story I've ever read so far. And I could say it was good. I liked it. I didn't absolutely like fall in love with it, but I thought it was pretty fun and enjoyable. Very creative and like crazy as I kind of expected, but it was cool. It was a fun read. I liked it. Then beside that we got Ghost and the Lady. This one has a really cool art style here. Yeah, it's has to do with Miss Nightingale or something. So it has some like historical fiction into it though. But yeah, this one was pretty cool. Very short, but it was like a good short. Like it didn't feel like it was like rushed or anything. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It had some pretty crazy ideas that I wasn't expecting, like how apparently like everyone on Earth has like a weird demon floating over their head, but they can't see them, and that kind of has to do with like their emotions and stuff. Yeah, it has to do with like a that kind of like weird shit, but I liked it. Then we got some Death Note. Yeah, I don't have much of this. By the way, all these volumes of Death Note I all found at a thrift store at like random times, so yeah. Yeah, I just never got around to buying, like, the whole set of it. But, you know, I love the anime. I've seen it, like, 3 times, so, you know, obviously I like it. Then beside that, we got Blood on the Tracks. This is the only volume I have of this. I do plan on getting more of them at some point, because I heard this series gets, like, really dark and crazy and fucked up, and I'm very intrigued by it. I have a friend of mine that kind of gets me hyped about it, so that's why I want to get into more of that. Then we got Berserk, you know, good old classic Berserk, which I really need to get more of, but unfortunately these small paperback versions are kind of a pain in the ass to track down, so I'm honestly thinking about just getting the hardcover set. Like, yeah, like, each hardcover is, like, really expensive, but at least I always see them, like, all the time, where with these ones, I only see, like, the first couple, and then the last couple, and everything in the middle is, like, always, like, sold out all the time, so, yeah. It's one of those things I really need to get more of, though. But I have read a little bit of Berserk, like, online years ago, so I am familiar with, like, some things of the manga. And, yeah, the art style is just, you know, incredible. So, yeah, it's just really crazy stuff. And then we got Zelda Twilight Princess, which I also need to get the box set for. Because I think they just announced one not long ago, so, yeah, I need to get that. But, yeah, I heard that the Zelda Twilight Princess manga is, like, way better than, like, a lot of the other ones that came out, and because, you know, like, Twilight Princess is also one of my favorite 3D Zelda games, so, you know, that's gonna be really cool and exciting to read through. Then we got Black Cat. I only got 2. I also found these at a thrift store, and, yeah, I thought it sounded kind of cool, but, of course, I haven't read it, because I want to try and get more of them, and I found out that, yeah, some of them are kind of hard to get, so, I don't know when that will happen. Then we got Fallen Vampire. I don't even, like, remember this series. I think I, like, bought them, like, blindly, like, years ago, and I had no idea what they were. I mean, I did read them, but I haven't read them in so long that, like, I don't even freaking remember. But I should reread them again just to see, like, if it, like, holds up or not. Okay, then we got Tsubasa. I really need to get more of these two. You know, that's another Clamp work where it's like, Tsubasa is basically, Kingdom Hearts, but instead of it being, like, Disney shit that's getting thrown around all over the place, it's instead, Clamp works that get thrown around all over the place, and I actually like it. I actually thought it was pretty cool and fun. We got Haruhi Suzumiya. I found these at a thrift store. It was an anime I used to like when I was much younger, and you know, it's kind of fun. You know, like, I don't really like a lot of the typical high school stuff, but I actually didn't mind that one. That one was fun. Then there's Aruka 7, which, you know, another thrift store find, and, you know, I like the anime to that one, but, yeah, I haven't really found any other ones. Then we got the only Naruto-related thing I have. This is a manga adaptation of the movie, so yeah, like, it's basically screenshots of the movie plastered in, like, manga format, which is kind of neat, I gotta say, and yeah, and it's, like, all color and everything, so, yeah, like I said, it's kind of interesting, but, yeah, I used to like Naruto when I was in, like, high school, but, you know, like, after a while, I kind of, like, you know, kind of fell out of it, but, you know, it's one of those series that I think it's, like, okay. I think it's, like, it's one of those series where it's, like, it's both overhated, but it's also overrated at the same time, so I just think I'm just in the middle about it. And then, we got Lupin the Third, but this is a Japanese edition. Yeah, I found this at a thrift store, and I was shocked. I was like, wow, like, what is, how did this come out here? And, yeah, it's like, yeah, all in Japanese, so, you know, can't really read it. But I thought it was just a cool little piece just to have. And then, down here, we'll start from this side. We got some big editions of classic stuff, like Kamen Rider, which I read for the first time. I thought it was really cool and fun. And then we got Space Battleship Yamato, another Lee Matsumoto work. And I haven't read that one yet, but I am going to get to it this year, hopefully. And then we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is part 3. I definitely need to get more of these, but obviously I've seen the animes and even the original OVA, and I really enjoy the series a lot. It's very fun and crazy, and, you know, the music references is always cool. And then we got my whole complete set of Yu-Gi-Oh! 3-in-1s, and I actually read the whole thing this year, and yeah, it was very fun, very cool. I'll probably talk more about that in my end of the year, all the shit that I've read video. And then we got 2 other Clamp works here, being Tokyo Babylon and Cardcaptor Sakura. I actually found both of these at a thrift store, and at the time, Tokyo Babylon, this is volume 2. This was actually going for, like, quite a bit of money, but I don't think it is anymore, because they started doing, like, a reprint of them, which is good, and, you know, and those newer editions, like, actually do look kind of nice, too. But, yeah, I just had that one for a long time. And then this right here is actually an indie manga that was made here in Canada. It's called Blith. Who made this? Is your name on here? Oh yeah, your name is like, wait, hold on. Your name's like right here. Eric Terran Mullins. I met him at a convention, so that's where I got this from. So I was at a booth, and, you know, I saw a guy that was promoting, like, his own, like, little manga, and I was all like, hey, like, I think that'd be cool. So I was talking with him for a bit, and he was actually a really nice dude. In fact, he was also, like, into, like, a lot of, like, old stuff like I was, so, you know, that was kind of fun. Yeah, I haven't read this yet, but from what he told me it was basically about a bunch of angels and demons, and they, like, go to college, and then there's, like, a lot of, like, conflict between the two. So, yeah, it sounds kind of silly and fun, but like I said, I haven't read it yet. But yeah, that's, like, you know, kind of like a very interesting, like, one-of-a-kind piece. He even signed it and everything, so, yeah. But, you know, you gotta support your indie authors, you know? Okay, so now this is the final part of the manga stuff that I own. So over here we got this big box set of Battle Angel Alita, which I got very recently. So I haven't really gotten around to, like, actually reading it yet, but I have seen the original OVA, and I've seen the live-action movie that I believe was directed by James Cameron. Is that right? Oh god, I'm gonna feel like such an idiot if I get that wrong. But either way, though, yeah, like those 2 things were really cool. So I definitely can't wait to read the original source material to that. And then over here we got this strategy guide for Arc the Lad. I just have this here because I didn't know where else to put it. And also, it's a game that I really need to play. And then, finally, we have is Rurouni Kenshin. And, yes, this is a series that I do really like it. I mainly love the anime. The manga series, like, you know, obviously I only have, like, the first, like, 9. And, I will explain why this one, like, looks weird. But, okay, so, I love the anime series. The manga, for what I read, is good. But fuck the creator. That guy is a big piece of dog shit, but I'm not gonna get into that because it's a whole shit show. But it's a shame that I have to mention that now that, like, because, you know, this is a series that, like, that I loved, and now it's like, man, it's associated with the big shitty person. So anyways, the reason why Volume 9, like, looks fucking weird, it's actually a hardcover, but the reason why this is a hardcover is that, this is actually a bootleg that was copied from one of the high schools I went to. So, yeah, so what one of my schools did was that whenever they got manga in, they would buy one, and then they would just photocopy the fuck out of it, so they'd have, like, multiple copies of, like, different volumes, so, you know, in case, like, more than one person wants to, you know, is reading the series at the same time, they don't gotta wait for, like, the other person to get done with it. So yeah, this is a photocopy one. That's why it's in like a weird hardcover that like it's not even in like the right size or anything. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Now we're gonna get to the novels now, the novel section. So first, we're gonna start off with over here with my Stephen King stuff. So I kind of went over this a little bit in my introduction video, but now we'll go more in depth about it. Yeah, so we got It and 11/22/63, which I haven't read yet. I talked about those on my big chonker video. And 11/22/63 is probably going to be the next King book that I read, so I'm excited for that. Then there's The Stand, which, by the way, this copy of The Stand was actually one of the first Stephen King books that I ever owned. This and Needful Things. I actually bought them both at a thrift store, like, years ago when I was, like, a teenager. Because, you know, I was really fascinated by, you know, Stephen King's work, since I used to love watching the movies with my dad and such. But, yeah, I read The Stand for the first time this year, and I loved it. I'll probably talk more about that in my, you know, all the books I read in 2024, because, you know, this video is probably already long enough as it is, but, yes, The Stand, fucking awesome. And then we got Salem's Lot, another one of my favorites that I read, and I really love this cover. I really liked how they have, like, the city mixed in with the O. I think that's just really cool. But, yeah, though, this book was just really awesome. Really loved it a lot. I actually, like, read this one very, very quickly, because it was just, that was how much of a page-turner it was for me. Same thing with this book, Misery. Another one of my all-time favorites, too. Frickin' adore this one. The movie is fantastic as well. It's one of the rare cases where both the movie and the book are just amazing in, like, completely different ways. Okay, well, I mean, not completely different ways, but there are differences that definitely do make them really good. And like I said, Needful Things was one of the first ones I ever owned, but unfortunately I never, like, read this one. Well, I tried reading it when I was a teenager, but unfortunately it was, like, too hard for me at the time. But, you know, obviously nowadays I can probably read it, but I just never got around to it, though. But, yeah, no, it's another one that's, like, really cool and fascinating to me. Then we got The Revival, which I've read last year, I think, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really awesome. And, really different, too. So, yeah, that one was very cool. Really crazy ending as well. Now, I was not expecting that, but it was awesome. Then we got The Institute, I haven't read, but it sounds great. Fairy Tale, which I also haven't read, but, man, I really love this cover art a lot. In fact, fun fact, this is actually the very first Stephen King book that I bought brand new, close to release date, because, you know, all these other King books that I have, I bought them all at, like, either at thrift stores or at, like, used bookstores. This is the first one that I actually bought, like, brand new at retail, so, you know, because for those that don't know, I first started, like, getting back into this reading hobby around, like, late 2021, early 2022. Pretty sure it was 2022, I think, but I could be wrong. So, yeah, that's why this was, like, you know, the first, like, King book I got brand new. Then beside that, we got Eyes of the Dragon. I really love this cover. Like, it's, like, bright green and, like, red. And it just has a simple dragon image. I don't know, there's just something about it I just really like. But, yeah, no, this is a really good book. Very underrated, I think. I thought it was very fun throughout. And, yeah, I'll probably talk more about that one someday. Then we got The Green Mile in this all-in-one edition, and this is another one that I also consider to be an all-time favorite as well. Just fantastic. As again, the movie is also just really, really awesome as well. Okay, now these ones, unfortunately, I haven't read these yet. So yeah, we got Heart of Atlantis, which is kind of like a short story collection, but then apparently everything kind of ties up together, so I'm kind of interested in that. Then we got From a Buick 8, which, I remember this was a book I used to see all the time when it, like, came out, and I used to think it was, like, Christine, or something related to Christine, because, you know, they're both cars, but, yeah, no, I haven't read that one yet. And then we got the Bill Hodges trilogy, which I really can't wait to get to, because I love the Hannibal series, and this series is basically Stephen King's, like, tribute to Thomas Harris sort of thing, so I think that's going to be really interesting. Alright, now moving along here, we got more. We got Desperation and Regulators. I'll, like, probably pull them out here, because, you know, they make that, like, really cool picture, which I believe, did I get it right? Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, I really love that. I think that's just really awesome. In fact, I remember when I used to see these covers as a kid, they kind of, like, creeped me out, but at the same time, like, looking at, like regulators, like, there's just so much, like, weird shit going on. It kind of kept your eyes busy, and I kind of like that. But, yeah, no, I definitely need to get around to reading these, as they sound really crazy, weird stuff that just sounds really, really, like, interesting to me. So, yeah. Then there's Rose Matter, which I've talked about in my ones I hope gets made into movie adaptation, because I think it would make for an interesting one, and it's an underrated favorite for me. Then there's the Lois Claiborne, which I need to get to around to. Haven't read it yet, though, but I know it's, like, really short, so I could probably, like, get through it pretty quickly, but yeah, no, the movie for Dolores Claiborne is great, though. I love the movie a lot, and I have heard there are some, like, interesting changes to it that I'm kind of interested to see what they do. Then we got the two ones with him and Peter Straub being Talisman and, Black House. I haven't read these yet, but they sound fascinating to me. In fact, I do plan on reading a couple Peter Straub stuff before reading these, because I kind of want to know what he's all about. And then there's 4 Past Midnight, which I've read, 2 of the ones in there. I've read, The Langoliers, and I've read, Library Policeman. Man, let me tell you, Library Policeman, that was some really fucked up shit. But it was good, though. And then the Langoliers was also really good, too. I even liked the TV movie for it, not gonna lie. And then, we got, Firestarter. I haven't read this one yet either, but the movie for it I thought was pretty cool and enjoyable. Yeah, I kind of liked it. Then we got Pet Sematary, one of the coolest covers, but yeah, I definitely need to get around to that one someday. But I have a feeling once I do, though, it's probably going to depress the fuck out of me, though, because it kind of deals with, like, a lot of stuff that would, like, make me very depressed, but I've heard that it's, like, beautifully written, though, so, you know, it'll be an interesting one. Then we got this short one, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, which, you know, I really don't like the name to that book. It's so, I don't know, it just sounds like a freaking romance novel, which it's not, but that's what it sounds like to me. And then after that, we got On Writing. You know, it's about, like, his memoir, and, you know, he kind of talks about some writing tips and all that. I did try, like, reading a bit of this one, but, yeah, I just never really, like, got far through it. Not because it was boring, it was just because, you know, I just only read, like, a little bit. I just wanted to hear, see, how he, like, worded certain things in it. Then we got the good old Dark Tower series, which I haven't started, but I'm hoping I'll start it soon. I don't know, maybe once I read, like, my other big chonker books, maybe I'll try to get around to this, though. But, yeah, I really love these original covers, though. Like, I love this one a lot. And then, you know, this one is, like, very simple, but I kind of like it. And then this was the one that has, like, the train on it. You know, it's another simple image, but I kind of like it. And then, Wizard in Glass also kind of has a cool one, too. And then, you know, like, the rest of them are, like, you know, the ones that are on, like, pretty much everything. Like Wolves of the Kala is pretty cool looking. And then this one has, like, the turtle on it. And then, this one, like, I also love the cover of this one, too. Like, the final one. Yeah, that'll be, very, very interesting. Anyway, and then this one here is, The Wind Through the Keyhole. This is actually a pretty nice cover of it, I will say. Okay, we're almost done with Stephen King, because he just has so many books that you can't fit them all on one shelf. So, this last little bit here we got is his hard case crime novels, being Later, Joyland, and the Colorado Kid. And, yeah, they sound really interesting. Mostly Later and Joyland. Colorado Kid sounds okay. I don't know. I haven't really heard a lot of great things about it, but the other two definitely sound fascinating to me, and they sound like they would be fun. And then we got the Bachman books. So this one I talked about in my introductory video. This is The Long Walk. This is the book that got me back into, like, loving reading again. And it got me back into, like, wanting to read more Stephen King. So, obviously with knowing that, yeah, I love this book. And it's easily one of my top favorites for sure. And then we got everyone's favorite, Road Work. I haven't read this one yet, but obviously I do plan on reading it at some point. But Yeah, it's one of those books that's very unpopular from him, but I have heard a couple of people say that it is, like, underrated and is, like, not, like, as bad as people say it is. But honestly, I think the idea of it sounds interesting, like, you know, about a guy who's, like, being forced out of his house, so he has to, like, deal with it kind of thing. Like, I don't know, I think it's kind of neat. And then we got The Running Man with Arnold on the cover. Yeah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm gonna stop now, but yeah, so obviously when it comes with the movie, I love the movie, and I still love it, but the book, yes, it is very different, and it's still very good, but in a completely different way. Like, obviously the movie is, like, way more, like, over the top, and is, like, actually, like, kind of funny and cheesy, and I love it, and then the book is, like, more, like, deadly serious, and also has a really crazy ending that he would, like, never get away with today. And yeah, it was a very fun, thrilling ride. It's not long either, so it's one of those books that's pretty easy to recommend, I think. And also, I just love the idea of just about, you know, guy, like, having to survive a game show. You know, like I said earlier, deaf game show thing. Like, I love that kind of shit. So, yeah, like, I like, anything that's similar to The Running Man, like, I will probably read it. And then the final Stephen King book I got is, Different Seasons in this paperback edition that you can actually get in multiple different colors, but I got the blue one because blue is my favorite color. So yeah, Different Seasons is great. You know, the Shawshank Redemption, awesome. The Body, also awesome. You know, that one is also known as Stand By Me. And then there's Apt Pupil, also really awesome, but also really, really fucked up. Yeah, that one's really dark. And then we got, what's the last one called again? Fuck, why can't... It's like the one about, like, the decapitated head there. Why can I not think of it right now? It'll come to me. But either way, that one I actually did read, and it was okay. Like, it was, like, definitely my least favorite out of the bunch, but it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't hate it, but it was definitely not, like, as memorable as, like, the other two. I mean, clearly. Or not the other two, the other three. Okay. Then we got his son's work. This is, Heart-Shaped Box. Yeah, this is Joe Hill, the Stephen King son. I definitely need to read this one, as it sounds really awesome, as it has to do about, a guy who is, like, in a rock band, and he's dealing with these, like, ghosts or something. It sounds really cool. And, yeah, he has also written some other stuff that sounds interesting, like the Nosferatu one sounds really cool as well. Okay, we gotta, like, fit this back in here. Okay, thank you. Alright, now we got to my other favorite author, Michael Crichton. So yeah, this is the other guy that helped me get back into the love of reading. So we got these collections here. We got his first collection that has his first 3 novels, Andromeda Stream, Terminal Man, and The Great Train Robbery. I haven't read this this set yet, but I can definitely say that The Great Train Robbery is probably the one that I'm most excited to read out of those 3. And then we got his second one. Now, this one I read everything in here. And Sphere is my ultimate favorite from him so far. I love it a whole lot. And it was also the first one that I ever read from him. And then Congo I thought was pretty good. I liked it. And then Eaters of the Dead is like the one that, like, okay, when you look at the name like that, you'd think it would be like a zombie-related thing. But no, it actually has to do with Vikings. And I do kind of like it, but I didn't like it as much as I was kind of hoping I would. Because, like, because how he came up with the idea of the book, I think is very, really fascinating, where it was, like, this old document that was, like, you know, like, most of it was, like, lost media, and he was just like, I'm gonna write a story about it. So I love the idea of it, but I don't know, I kind of wish it was longer. And then we got Timeline, which I also really love a whole lot. Like, I thought Timeline was just great. Yeah, that one was just really, really awesome. And then we got, what was this one called again? Pirate Latitude. Yeah, sorry, it's just, I'm looking at it through my camera, so it's like, the text is like really small. But yeah, Pirate Latitude. I haven't read that one yet. That's another one I'm actually probably gonna read pretty soon, because it actually does fascinate me. Plus, you know, I could use a good pirate book. Now, after that, we got some Dean Koontz stuff. So, Cold Fire I haven't read yet, but, The Bad Place I have read, and, okay, are you gonna get stuck together? Okay, maybe a little bit. Yeah, this cover art is very nostalgic to me because I remember someone that my mom was dating, he always had this book, so I always used to see this cover, like, all the time, and because it's called The Bad Place, I always thought this was going to be, like, the most, like, creepiest shit ever. But of course, you know, now that I've actually read it, I mean, yeah, it's still pretty creepy, you know, it has to deal with, like, both this guy who, like, who's just, like, a complete maniac and, you know, all that, and, yeah, like I said, I thought it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. Then we got Lightning. This is probably going to be the next one I'm going to read, as I do like the idea of it quite a lot. And, yeah, that one I'm actually looking forward to reading. And then we got Dragon Tears. This is the very first Dean Koontz book I ever read. I really love this cover a lot. Like, even though it's so, like, simple, but it's just the simplicity, it just has a lot of detail into it. I don't know, I just really like it. But yeah, this is the first one I read, and I liked it. It was pretty solid. One thing I will say about it that really surprised me, though, was that the way how he, like, describes, like, bugs and insects, like, it actually kind of gets under my skin, not gonna lie. So, yeah, that was something that surprised me about it. But, yeah, no, it was pretty good. It was pretty interesting. And this book I really like a lot. This is, Key to Midnight. I love this cover, too. This cover is just awesome. Even the back cover is, like, really cool looking, too. Yeah, really, this is probably, like, one of my favorite looking editions of a book that I have. And, yeah, this book is also just really awesome, too. I actually really liked it a lot. Like I said, this might be my favorite Dean Koontz book that I've read so far. But I still got a long way to go before I make that claim. And then we got the last hardcover one here. This is, Odd Thomas. This is another one that I've heard is, like, really good. It also has, like, its own series, but I'll probably just read this one first book, see if I like it, and if I like it enough, maybe I might read the other ones, but we'll see. But, you know, it does look pretty cool. Okay, now, beside all the Koontz stuff, we got some Simmons stuff, and no, not Gene Simmons, Dan Simmons. So yeah, we got Summer of Night. So yeah, this one has a really awesome cover. I really love that one a lot. Then we got Children of the Night, which has a cool castle background. I tend to be a sucker for castle stuff. And then there's Fires of Eden, which I got not too long ago. And this one I've heard is like kind of sort of like Jurassic Park a little bit, so that kind of gets me excited. So yeah, all these books kind of take place in the same little series because they star like characters that appeared in this book. So yeah, that'll be very cool to get through all that. Then we got Shadowland from Peter Straub. This might be the first Straub book I'll check out, because I don't have very many of his stuff, but this is the one that kind of fascinates me the most, and also it's, like, not long either, so, you know, that kind of helps, but, yeah, I actually really do think that one's going to be pretty cool, I think, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Then we got his short story collection, Houses Without Doors. I actually kind of like the cover for this one. But yeah, like I said, this is a short story collection, which, I will be honest, I don't really gravitate towards short stories very often. I mean, hell, I don't even have any of Stephen King's short stories, so, you know, I just never really got around to them, though. But yeah, I do have this one, though. But, yeah, I'm not sure when I'll get around to it, though, but maybe. And then, we got Floating Dragon, which I talked about in the Chonkers video, and this book sounds pretty cool, and I love this cover art. I think it's just really awesome and badass looking. I think I commented, too, that it kind of looks like something you'd see out of, like, a trading card game like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something. Then beside that, we got another dragon book, and that is Red Dragon. And this book is one of my all-time favorites. I love this book a lot. Like, damn, just really awesome stuff. The movies are really good, but I still love the book a lot. So, yeah, like, it was just really dark, creepy. Like, the characters were great. Yeah, it was just great stuff. And then we got the other two Hannibal stuff, which are also very, very good. And, you know, I don't really need to say much about them. And now we have some, John Saul. I only have 3 of his books. I only read one, being this one, because a friend of mine recommended it to me. And I kind of liked it. It was decent. I like the way how he writes atmosphere. He's good at doing that. And his characters they were alright. He knows how to make, like, shitty parents, I'll say that. But yeah, I definitely want to read more of his stuff, though. I mean, out of the 3 I have, you know, I have Midnight Voices, which I've heard was really good. And then there's, this one here, the Hunt Club, whatever. Oh, the Manhattan Hunt Club. I heard this one is very different, but it still sounded fascinating to me. And then this next one was one I found randomly, and I was like, ooh, that looks cool. And that is, Raymond E. Feist Fairy Tale, but Fairy Tale spelled differently. Yeah, this is a very cool cover. I don't know how well you can see it, because there might be a lot of glare, but yeah, you got like a house, and you got like a shoe, then you got blood, and then there's like this black creature bat thing. Looks kind of crazy and cool. Yeah, this was, I think he's like mainly a fantasy author, but this is like his like horror book, so like I said, I think it sounds kind of interesting, and I really like the cover. Then we got Justin Cronin's The Passage and The 12. I kind of talked about this on the Chonkers book too. They sound really cool. It's basically like post-apocalyptic with vampires or something. So yeah, sign me up. Then we got Blake Crouch, one of my other all-time favorite authors so far. We got Dark Matter, which I read for the first time this year. I read it before the adaptation came out, and yeah, I freaking loved it. Like, amazing. And then Recursion and Upgrade I definitely need to read, but I'm excited too, because Recursion sounds really cool, because it has to do with, like, memories and such. And then Upgrade has to do with, like your DNA or something. And then after that, we got some Robert McCammon. I unfortunately don't have many of his stuff, because, as you would expect, his stuff is very hard to find. So we got Gone South. And then we have Boy's Life. Boy's Life was one of the first books that I read this year, and oh man, I adored it. It was just amazing. Like, goddamn, like I could gush about it like so much, but yeah, I'll probably save that for the end of the year video. But you know, it was amazing. Like, I would recommend. And then Gone South I haven't read yet though, but it sounds pretty cool. And god, this freaking kangaroo sticker. Yeah, I have no idea where that, like, came from. I got that used from somewhere else. Then we got, oh my god, these two are stuck together because of the Mylar. This is Edgar Allan Poe, little, like, story collection. I thought this was a pretty cool cover. And this is an edition that was made in the 60s, and this is, like, really, really good condition considering, like, how old it is. And then after that one, we got is Amy Girl from Barry Wood. I've never heard of this book. I found this at a thrift store, thought the cover looked cool, and also saw it was like a horror book, and was like, yeah, I gotta check that out. Also has a Stephen King quote on the back too, which is kind of neat. So yeah, like I said, will be like one of those blind books that I literally don't know much about that I'm gonna read one day. And then we got Tim Powers with On Stranger Tides. This will be a cool book to read, as, you know, I've never read Tim Powers before, but I've heard that his writing is pretty fun. And yeah, this is a pirate book, so yeah. And so I have 2 pirate books, being this and Pirate Latitude. So that'll be interesting. And then we got a Gene Wolfe book. This is Castle View. I actually did read this one, and man, I love this cover art a lot. It's just really beautiful looking. That's what made me buy it. Plus, you know, Gene Wolfe is one of those writers that I really want to get into. But I will say, this book was okay. I don't know. Like, it was weird. Like, I love the idea of the book, but it was very hard to follow at times, and also it had a lot of characters that, like, some of them just I didn't feel like they really, like, were, like, necessary. I don't know, there's kind of a little bit of a fluff. If you've never read Gene Wolfe before, I don't think you should read this one first like I did. Yeah, maybe I should have started off with his, like, what was it, the Soldier series there? Like, the one that he's mostly well known for. Okay, so now below that, we're gonna go here where there's some big heavy hitters here. Like, Lord of the Rings, and, yeah, this is a really beautiful box set. I would love to take it out and show you guys, but it's kind of a pain in the ass, because it's, like, really heavy, and also I really don't want to, like, wreck, like, the books, because they're just so nice looking. But, yeah, I'm sure you've probably seen these editions before, though, because you can get them at, you can still get them at, Barnes & Noble and, you know, Indigo, or, like, whatever your main retail sources. Then we got Michael Moorcock with the Elric books, and yes, the name Michael Moorcock is always gonna make me giggle a little bit, because I'm just a very immature person. But, yeah, no, it's a really cool-looking fantasy series about a guy who has, like, a sword that, like, talks and, like, absorbs power or something. And he's also one of those writers that kind of came up with, like, the whole, like, crazy, like, multiple universe type thing. So, you know, very cool stuff. Then we got Snow Crash from Neil Stephenson. Very beautiful cover this one is. And, yeah, this is another book I'm actually really excited to read one day. And I know there's, like, a character in here who's, like, he's, like, a pizza delivery guy, but he, like, carries around a, like, a katana with him at all times, which I think is kind of funny. Yeah, this book actually predicted, like, a lot of, like, interesting things from what I've heard. Like, it predicted, like, the internet, basically. Then we got this awesome version of Count of Monte Cristo. Yeah, I love this cover. I talked about this one in the Chonky Books thing, but, you know, we gotta show it again, because, you know, it's such a beautiful edition. And then we got Isaac Asimov, Prelude to Foundation. I really need to get to actually owning the original Foundation set, but I can never find one that I, like, really like enough, though. But, yeah, that one will come around. Then we got a very beautiful set of Dune. Love this cover. And also, like, the pages are, like, spray painted, like, turquoise, which is kind of nice. Kind of nice? I mean, kind of nice. Durr. Okay, this is how you know that it's getting late and I'm getting tired. Alright, then we got Gone with the Wind, which I've talked about in the Chonkers video. And, yeah, like I said before, I actually really like this cover. I think it's kind of nice. Probably one of the nicer covers I've seen of that book. Then we got Larry McMurtry. This is another one that's high on my TBR. So, yeah, I definitely can't wait to get to that one. I also talked about it in the Chonkers video. Then we got the James Clavell stuff, like Shogun, which I would love to get to reading this book, but I definitely need to make time for it. But, yeah, this is a book club edition, by the way. It's not an original, like, first printing hardcover, because that shit's, like, insanely expensive, but I don't mind. I don't mind the book club edition. And then we got Gaijin, which looks totally different. In fact, when I look at this cover art, it makes me think of, like, James Bond a little bit. Like, if you look at, like, the little outlines here, it kind of looks like the gun barrel scene from the James Bond movies. And then we got Noble House, which just has, like, the 2-volume set. And, yeah, I definitely need to get more of them. But more importantly, though, I really need to get reading Shogun. Beside here, we have is Jim Butcher. So here's the thing. I have the first one in hardcover. It's like right here. Okay, I can take this one out with one hand, no problem. Yeah, see, I have the first one hardcover, but all the rest of them are like stupidly expensive. So I decided to just go with these paperbacks. And I mean, hey, at least these paperbacks are actually like decent size, and you know, the font isn't like tiny, so I don't mind. But, yeah, I would love to get a whole hardcover set of them, though, but I just know it ain't happening, but, oh well. Like I said, this is fine. But, yeah, I did get, this one recently, the white one here. I did get that one, like, pretty recently. Then we got Purgatory Shore, which I talked about in my, books. I hope gets movies made out of them, because it sounds like it would be like an amazing movie with a bunch of dudes getting transported to another world, and they fight monsters and dinosaurs. I don't know how well you can see that there, but yeah, so there's a bunch of a dude shooting cannon at a T-Rex. I mean, how could you not love that? Then we got this fantasy series here. This is Rhapsody, I believe it's called. Yeah, there's, Rhapsody, Destiny, and then Requiem of the Sun. There's a second one. I think it's called Prophecy, but I don't have that one. But yeah, it's a fantasy series that actually did sound kind of fun. Then we got this very beautiful edition of Frankenstein. Love that cover. And I just realized the whole, like, outer shell thing is, like, right here. Of course, leave me to drop it, but, yeah. It just tells you, like, the name and all that. It's like a little, like, thing that just covers over it. Okay, we got the Frankenstein one put away, because I needed 2 hands for that.
Okay, now this one here is the Book of Five Rings. This is a very cool edition. It's like made out of like very interesting material, and this version has like some really cool like illustrations in them. As again, I would show you, but it's like might be kind of hard. Or actually, no. Okay, I can get like a little bit in there. Okay, yeah. But yeah, no. Like I said, it's a very cool illustrated edition that I found at like in a bargain bin at a freaking Indigo. I was kind of like, wow, really? This is like less than $20. And of course, leave it me to, like, not being able to put books away. Okay, no, there we go. Alright, after that, we got Ascension from Nicholas Binge. This book kind of reminded me of Michael Crichton's Sphere, so because of that, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta read this. It's basically about, like, a mountain that rises from the ocean. So, kind of like the opposite of Sphere, where instead of being, like, a weird, like, sphere that's dropped to the bottom of the ocean, it's, like, rising up. So, yeah, I had to try that one out. Okay, you know what, I'll put that one out way after. Okay, then next we have another Neil Stephenson. This is The Diamond Age. This is another one I actually got pretty recently. And this is another one that also sounds very fascinating to me. So, yeah, that one will be pretty fun to read eventually. As you can tell, I have like a massive backlog here. Okay, I'll put that away after. God, I'm too tired for this shit. Then we got Scythe with Neil Shusterman. This is another one that's pretty high on my TBR, because, you know, it's not long. Also, the idea of it sounds really great. I think they are making this into a movie, but I don't remember who was involved with it, though. But, yeah, it sounds like a really cool concept about, like, they found out how to cure death, but now there's, like, overpopulation, so now there's, like a job now where they have to, like, you know, be Grim Reapers and kill people when they have to. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting like that. Alright, and then these last few are the Artemis Fowl books, which I used to read as a kid, but these aren't my original ones. But I wanted to buy these because, you know, just for nostalgia factor. Because I only read the first two as a kid. Which, you know, the first one is just called Artemis Fowl, and then the second one is the Arctic Incident. But yeah, after that, I've never read any of the other ones, but yeah, like I said, I thought it would be like a fun little nostalgia read. Go back and see how they are. Okay, now we gotta go all the way down here, and my god, my voice is like getting tired, and also it's like cramped down here because like my bed is like really close to the shelf. So okay, so we got Horror Store. I talked about that in my ones I wish got made into movies. I think it would be really fun because, you know, it's like Haunted IKEA. Sounds great. Then we got Blake Crouch's Run, another one I mentioned, and one I hope gets a movie made out of it, and I freaking love that book. It's actually the first thing I ever read from him, and I loved it. Then we got Wayward Pines. We got all three of these books, and another one I can't wait to get to. That sounds great. Then we got Green Rider, which is pretty cool. Then we got Blindness. This one has a pretty interesting cover. I kind of like the pattern. But yeah, no, this book was really, really great. I really loved it a lot. It's basically about, what if, like, every single person suddenly became blind, and then there's, like, only, like, one person that's, like, able to, like, see, and yeah, it's very fascinating. I heard that they actually made it into a movie, and I was all like, wow, really? Like, how did I not know about that? And then there's, The Devil of Nanking by Mo Hader. And this is a book that's also pretty high on my TBR, as it also sounds really fascinating. You know, it's about this reporter person goes to the location of where the Nanking incident happened. It's not actually called the Nanking incident, it's called something else, but I don't want to, like, say it on here. But yeah, it was an actual thing that did happen that was, like, really, like, fucked up and crazy. And yeah, it sounded really interesting. Then there's Gone Girl. I read this for the first time this year, and this was actually really good. I thought this was a really good book. Yeah, very interesting. It'll definitely make you think about differently when you're in a relationship sometimes. Then we got Hyperion, which I did read, and I loved this book a lot. Mainly the story for the priest and the scholar. Those two were definitely my favorites. And, yeah, I did talk about this in the... Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of moving around here. And I did talk about this in my ones that I hope gets made into, like, a movie or a TV show, because I do think that this one would be really, really cool, but it would be very hard to do. But, yeah, like I said, it's great. And then we got the last, Dan Simmons book, Carry On Comfort. I haven't gotten around to this one yet, but I heard this one gets, pretty fucking crazy. Then we got Twilight Eyes. I also talked about this in the one I hope gets made into a movie. And it sounds really cool. Then we got Demon Seed from Dean Koontz. This one actually did get made into a movie. I've never seen it, though. I think it came out in, like, the 70s. Because this was, like, originally, like, a really old book. But then he, like, kind of, like, tweaked it, like, years later. This is, like, the newer edition. I actually found that the cover art for the old one kind of almost looks very Ghost in the Shell to me. Yeah, then we got Rising Sun from Michael Crichton. You know, weirdly enough, this is probably my favorite cover of this book. Yeah, weirdly enough. I mean, it's simple, but, like, I don't know, I kind of like it. But, yeah, that one I definitely need to get around to. And then we got good old Jurassic Park, which is just fantastic. Then we got Exiles. Yeah, like I said, this is a big chunky book that I've had for, like, ever. I talked about that in my Big Chonkers video. We got Tess Garrett with Gravity. This is another one that a friend of mine recommended to me. Haven't read it yet, but it did sound kind of interesting, though. I have never read her before, so I don't know what else she does. Then there's The Giver. I read this in school, and I remember it being really good. It was like one of the few books that we had to read in school that I actually liked. So, you know, there's that. Then there's To Kill a Mockingbird. I really want to get, like, a nicer copy of this. I don't know, this cover's kind of... I mean, it's okay, but, I don't know, I think there's, like, better editions I could get of that one, but, you know, like, I'll probably read out of that one eventually. And then we got I, Robot, which, I actually do remember, reading this one in school. Not because we had to, it was just, I just chose to read it, because it was, like... one of the few things that they had, and I'm just like, oh, is this related to that Will Smith movie? And then apparently it was, but it's, like, totally different, and, I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I do remember it being very interesting, though. It'll be interesting to reread that, because, like I said, it's been forever. Then we got this box set of this old, children's fantasy series called The Dark is Rising. I actually read a couple of these when I was a kid. I remember them being pretty cool, but I don't know if they still hold up or not. But yeah, I remember reading, yeah, the first one, The Dark is Rising. I never read Over Sea, Under Stone, because I didn't even know that was a thing. But yeah, it's the prequel one. Then there's Green Witch, which I did read years ago. And then I think The Grey King was where I stopped, if I remember correctly, because, like, I don't remember. But I do remember that the cover for, well, here, I'll, show it here, yeah. The cover for, the last book there, Silver on the Tree, I always thought was, like, really awesome looking. But, yeah, like I said, I haven't read these in, like, ages, so... if anyone's ever read these before, I wonder what you guys would think about them. Okay, we got that out of the way. Alright, then we got this James Bond set, which has, okay, well, I showed them all there, but, you know... we got Casino Royale, Thunderball, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Live and Let Die. Because, you know, like, I don't think this is, like, all of them in order, but I think it's, like, mostly in order. Like, I know Casino Royale was the very first book, because, you know, the movies actually did it in, like, way different orders than the books did, which is kind of neat. Also, some of them are, like, have, like, completely different plots, too. Like, they're, like, some movies are based after, like, one book, but it's, like, a completely different name. Yeah, it gets kind of confusing. Alright, now, going beside that one, we're almost done here. So, we have, Clive Cussler. These are all the Clive books I have. Hopefully it's not too dark, but yeah, so we got, Treasure, which is, like, one of his, like, pretty old ones. Then we got Dragon. Now, does his book Dragon have dragons in it? Probably not. And then we have Sahara, which is the only one that I've read so far, and I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was really fun. So, yeah, that's kind of what made me want to, like, try and pick up more of these. And then there's Inca Gold, which has a pretty nice looking cover. And then there's Flood Tide. Yeah, he has, like, really nice, bright, vibrant covers. I always like that. And then there's Atlantis Found, which is the one that I mentioned in my my movie video. But, yeah, no, like I said, basically, Clive Cussler, what he writes about is he writes a series of novels called the Dirk Pitt series. Yeah, Dirk Pitt. I know, it's, like, such a weird name. Well, anyways, basically, he's like a scuba diver who hunts for treasure. So, basically, kind of think of, Indiana Jones underwater. And, yeah, I think that just sounds really fun and awesome. So, yeah, I really liked, what I've read of his, which is just a 1, but I do plan on continuing more. Then we got Eric von Lustbader, and we have quite a bit of his books. And, so the first one here is The Ninja. And, yeah, so he has, like, a whole ninja series of books that kind of fascinated me. They kind of sound like, as again, like James Bond, but instead of him being, like, a British agent, he's a ninja. So, yeah, I'm like, okay, that sounds like it could be fun. So, yeah, this one I'm actually probably going to read pretty soon. And, yeah, and I think I have, like, almost his whole series of ninja books. Yeah, there's the Maiko, White Ninja, the Kaisho, Floating City, Second Skin, and that's the main series. And then he has French Kiss, which is, like, I think, like, an offshoot of something. And then we got his fantasy series. Like, this one is The Ring of 5 Dragons, which looks pretty cool. And then this one I picked up recently. It's, the second one to The Ring of 5 Dragons. It's The Veil of a Thousand Tears. This one also kind of looks cool. So, yeah, we got a whole bunch of Eric von Lustbader. In fact, one thing that he's also known for was that after when, Robert fuck, what's his name? The guy that does all the Bourne stuff. Robert Legram? Oh my god. See, this is what happens when you're recording, like, pretty late at night, and you've been, like, talking for, like, ever. But anyways, that guy, after when he died, Eric von Lustbader was the guy that kind of, like, took over writing in his style. So, yeah, like, that's... So you probably have, like... So if you have actually read, like, a lot of, like, the stuff from... with his name on it that was done after he died. Yeah, that he did, like, a lot of that. So then we got S.J. Cherry with, what is the book called again? Fortress of Eagles. There is a series of this. This is the second one. I don't have the first one. I just bought this because, like I said, I found it at a thrift store, and it was, like, I thought, like, the cover looked cool. And also, S.J. Cherry, I've heard, is actually, like, a pretty good writer, so... You know, I heard they write, like, a bunch of different stuff. Like, I know they've done some, like, sci-fi stuff and all that. And then we got another James Bond book. This is a Gardner book. The Man from Barbarossa. Yeah, the John Gardner, he was one of the guys that took over writing after, you know, like, the whole... Yeah, you know, after when Ian Fleming died. And then, this book here... is The Swordswoman from Jessica Amanda Salomons? Yes, Salomonson. Really like the cover of this one, but unfortunately, when I was moving, yeah, they kind of dinged on, like, over her face, and it kind of bothers me now. So I feel like I really should just buy another copy of it. But, yeah, no, this book actually sounded kind of cool. It's about a girl that, like, gets, like, stuck onto, like, a planet of, like, insect monsters, so, you know. That'll be kind of, that sounds like it could be fun. Okay, then the last one over here is, actually a Folio Society book that I found at a Goodwill. Yeah, see, look, that's how much I paid for it. I forgot to take the sticker off of it. But yeah, it's, the Maltese Falcon. But yeah, just, like, with a lot of fuck, whatever. The society there. Yeah, it has, like, little slip cover there, and it's a nice hardcover. Yeah, very, very cool. I was actually surprised I actually find that at a freaking thrift store. Alright, now we're at the very, very bottom, and I am literally laying down on the floor because, it's really hard to move around. But I am here. Okay, so we got some art book stuff. I don't know if I'll be able to take these out, but I'll try. This one here is the Vampire Princess Miyu art book, which I absolutely love. I can't remember the name of the artist right now, but I did mention it in my Manga's Always Got Fan Translated video. Then we got another Zelda one. This is the Link to the Past graphic novel. Very cool. I mean, Link to the Past was the first Zelda game I ever played, so... Then we got a Growlancer art book. Well, it's also a strategy guide, too, but it has a lot of artwork in it. And, you know, I love Satoshi Yoroshiharu's art style. It just looks very beautiful. Then we got this random book about castles. Found this at a thrift store, thought it sounded cool. I mean, it has some really nice pictures in there, so, you know, I'm a sucker for castles. Then we got this beautiful art book. This is Aizen Suzuki. Let me actually pull this one out, because this is, like, some really beautiful stuff. Yeah, I'll have to do a video just kind of, like, showcasing this a little bit, because it's, like, amazing. I would love to get, like, his artwork on, like, my walls or some shit, because he has, like, a lot of, like, cool pictures. Yu-Gi-Oh! This is the Art of the Cards book. It's another art book. Yeah, I couldn't fit it, like, normally, so I had to, like, put it, like, that way. Then there's a book that talks about all the stuff you can do in Tokyo. Because, you know, I would love to go to Japan one day. It's probably going to be the next country I'm going to try and visit. In case you're wondering what the first country I visited, it was Switzerland, which was very fun. So, yeah, that will probably be my next one. Hopefully all things goes well. Then we got some graphic novels like V for Vendetta. We got Watchmen, which are great. And then we got Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is very good. And I actually grew up watching the Sean Connery movie, and, you know, I will admit, I actually had fun watching it as a kid. And, you know, even watching it years later, I still thought it was fun, but I can definitely see more of the flaws in it, but it was still, like, amusing and entertaining. But after reading this book, though, I was like, God damn, they really fucked with the story, because it's, like, so different. But, yeah, the graphic novel, though, was great, though. Then we got The Ambassadors. This is a newer one. I thought it looked interesting, and I actually did read this whole thing, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was kind of different. And then we got the last graphic novel here. This is Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book. Really, really good. I actually really liked it a lot. Then we got, well, what the hell is this one called again? Oh yeah, The World Without End. One thing I like about the cover is that the image kind of looks very old school, like RTS, kind of like Age of Empires or something. It kind of looks very much like that, and I kind of thought that was interesting. But yeah, with the books, I think the book is about like Greek mythology. I think, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm fucking tired. Next, we got some Sidney Sheldon books. I've never read him. The only reason why I have these is because my mom's friend found out that I was, like, getting back into reading, and she offered to, like, give me, like, a bunch of her books, and these are the only two that I took, because she was into a lot of stuff I was, like, not into. But I thought these ones sounded kind of interesting, because, you know, Sands of Time, I think, is about the nuns that are trying to escape Spain while in the middle of, like, a war or something. And then the Doomsday Conspiracy, I think, is about guys plane crashes on, like, a mountain in Switzerland. So I was like, okay, I'll try these out. I'm not sure when I'll get around to them because, you know, like, one thing I know about Sidney Sheldon is that he's a very old-school writer. Like, a lot of these books came out in, like, the 80s, and he wrote them in his, like, 70s. So, you know. Then we got, what is this? City of Dreams? Yeah, this is by Don Winslow. I need to read this, but one thing I made a mistake was that, this book is actually a sequel, and I did not know it was, and I'm just like, ah, crap, I guess I better get the first one before I read this one, so, yeah. But, you know, it actually looked like a pretty cool, like, thriller kind of series. Then we got some James Patterson books. I only own two, being Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue. I don't really know much about James Patterson outside of his Alex Cross series, but these are the two that I found at thrift stores. I see them all the time, and I was kind of like, you know, like, they actually sound kind of neat. Maybe I'll try them, because, you know, like, I do want to at least give everyone the benefit of the doubt, you know? Then we got Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I remember watching the one movie, and it was really good. So I hope that I've heard that the book is like amazing. So you know, I got that. Then we got the only Ken Follett book I have, and that is Night Over Water. The concept of this one sounded really cool. It was kind of like I think it's a World War One book or a World War Two book. It was like either one of the World Wars, where basically a plane is flying over the ocean, but while it's flying over it, there's like a murder mystery that happens on it. I don't know. It sounded really cool, so I thought to try that one. But there's a couple books that Ken Follett has written that I do want to try as well, but I just haven't got to them. Then we got Terry Goodkind. This is his Sword of Truth series. He's done like a bunch of these. I'm not sure when I'll get around to these, but because I know there's a lot of them, but I do have them because I found all of these at a thrift store, and I was all like, yeah, this would be a perfect time for me to get them because, you know, like, they do, like, I found, like, the first one there, too, like, Jesus. And then, we got J-Pods. This is a weird book I always used to see all the time as a kid. Yeah, it has, like, these, like, weird Lego people on it. So, it's by, Douglas Copeland, and, he's a Canadian author, so obviously because of that, I saw his books all the time over here. And from what I remember, I think this book is about, like, a game development team that has very few people in it. Like, 6 people, as you can tell by the cover. But apparently it's, like, kind of like a satire of, like I said, of, like, people working in, like, a game development studio. I heard it's, like, funny, apparently, so I don't know. If I wanted to try it, like I said, something different, so, you know. Okay, we're almost done. We only got, like, 2 freaking things left. So we got all my Harry Potter books in hardcover, but I'm only missing one, which is Order of the Phoenix. Oh, you probably can't see it very well, but yeah. Order of the Phoenix is the other one I don't have here. I used to have it, but my original copy of it was in so bad condition, like, you could literally take the text block and remove it from the spine. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, it was, like, a really shit, ex-library copy, so, yeah. But, yeah, no, I don't really just say much about, Harry Potter. I used to read them a lot at school, and, I only read up to, yeah, I think I read up to, Order of the Phoenix, and then I just stopped. But, you know, obviously I've seen all the movies. And then finally, last but not least, we got Tom Clancy, which, you know, like I said before, I tried reading Hunt for Red October, and I took a break from it because, yeah, I just was not sure if I was in the mood for reading something like that. But I still have my Garfield bookmark in there somewhere. And then we got all the other 2, which I've talked about in my huge Chonkers video, so, yeah, there you go. Oh, man. I am so glad that we're done with that, because I am, like, my throat hurts. Okay, but no, that was actually fun. Like I said, like, I really enjoy just, like, rambling on about all, like, the shit that we have, and we can have a good discussion about it. But yeah, that's all the books I have. I'm kind of glad that I actually did this now and not, like, when I had, like, over, like, a bajillion books, because, you know, we'd be here for, like, ever. But still, though, like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here that I definitely can't wait to get to, and stuff I'm looking forward to. Then, of course, it's also fun to take a look at the stuff that I did read and be like, yeah, like, that book was awesome. So, anyways, without further ado, I'll probably try to, like, maybe do another one of these, like, maybe, like, next year or something. We'll see. But, yeah, take it easy, everyone. Thank you for watching, commenting,